Comic book people, issue number 3 to Injustice vs. the Masters of the Universe from DC Comics has recently come out. Let's talk about that. Major spoilers ahead. Yes, in an alternate DC universe, Superman is taking control of not only many of the heroes of his Earth, but also many of the villains. This universe is based off the video game of the same name, with the ending of Superman taking control of the Brainiac technology. And the few remaining heroes who were remaining independent have tried to recruit a new hero on their side, which happens to be He-Man of Eternia. The first couple issues are somewhat more of just a build-up of the big battle that we know we're dying to see between He-Man and Superman. He-Man, Orko, and Teela have come to Earth with the heroes. Orko finds out that his magic is much more powerful on Earth, and He-Man has been able to obtain several suits of armor of Kryptek. Meanwhile, on Eternia, they're being invaded by Darkseid, which somewhat brings us up to date up to this current issue. With the Kryptek armor, He-Man and Teela are now able to get up close to the Oracle, which is what the Resistance is attempting to do. Little side note, there are two different Batman that are in this series. The first one is Bruce Wayne, who has been taken control by Superman, and we find out that the good Batman that is on the side of the Resistance is Damian Wayne, which a lot of people had already speculated. On Eternia, Steppenwolf is leading Darkseid's army to try to invade Grayskull. Unfortunately, many of the Avions have been assimilated into Darkseid's army, which already includes many of the evil forces of Skeletor that are on his side as well. So the good guys have to hold back somewhat without going all out. On Earth, there really isn't that much story development with He-Man and the Resistance, with the exception of us seeing He-Man kick a little bit of ass with him taking on Lobo. Although it is pretty darn cool to see a battle armor He-Man that is enforced by Kryptonian tech, and a bit of a heartfelt reunion between Damian and Bruce Wayne. Flipping over to Eternia, and I know many people may not want to think this, but I kind of feel like there may be a thing between Mossman and Swamp Thing. Their whole thing is supposed to be that they're children of the green, and even though I don't think Mossman has ever really had a sexuality, I know the host of Swamp Thing has already had one in the past, but you know what, this is something else, and maybe this can transcend sexuality. I won't look any more into it other than that. The big thing about this issue is it leaves off on the big cliffhanger of what we've been all waiting to see, which is Superman coming onto the scene. And maybe He-Man is outmatched in this instance, but you know what, this is going to be an epic battle. So what am I thinking about this so far? I'm really loving writer Tim Seeley's take on it. There obviously can't be too strong consequences coming out of it. I mean, both mythos can't really go too far into making major changes. I'm glad that Skeletor is a part of everything, even if he's just a manipulator in the background. He obviously has a much bigger plan at play that hasn't been put in, but you just know that he's gonna have some double-crossing thing taking place with either Superman and He-Man, or both of them, and maybe he's working with Darkseid too. Zodak got his ass kicked at the very beginning of this series, so I don't know how they're gonna be able to fight off Darkseid. But I'm sure there's some key thing that we haven't seen that's gonna be played later on. The artwork by Freddie E. Williams is impeccable. Every single panel you have to examine to see if he put any Easter eggs in the background. And in my own personal opinion, I think this whole series is phenomenal. I'll leave it at that and I won't go any further into it. I can't wait to read issue number 4. If you're interested in reading this one yourself, you want to go to dccomics.com, or if you want to go to comiXology.com, you can read it directly from them. It's a very common comic book and you can get it just about anywhere. So I'll end this review at this point. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel. Also, if you like this video, hit that like button. Check out my Patreon site when you get a chance. Check out my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, and I'll stand. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.
I'm in love with a hero.
Darkseid is always made into like the big bad of the DC universe. I mean, there's other big bads besides him, but I think it would be incredible if we got to see Hordak meet up with Darkseid, and we find that at the end of this series we have some sort of big collaboration between the two of them. That would be a great crossover in the future.